All right, fellas. So, big topic, most important topic in the summer, Jalen Smith. We've seen him now in 3 games. First 2 games, both double doubles. I believe it was 15 and 12, and then 12 and 15. This last game, in my opinion, he really popped. Now, Sundo, you were watching it with me. I know Salty has seen what he did. 4 for 7 from three, 21 points, 11 rebounds. I fear the two of you are both underwhelmed. I want to preface this video by saying, we titled it "Is he a bust?" Well, it's a conversation we started a couple of days ago, and it's now continuing on. And there's a lot of trade talks with Jalen Smith. So, where are you at right now, Sundo, with Jalen Smith?
So, this started like you already said, told people. It started off after the summer league game against the Utah Jazz. Me and Salty were Salty was in the chat of the live stream, and I was there, and I was kind of with Salty. We were underwhelmed with Jalen Smith. We were underwhelmed with Stix. Him being a top 10 pick, we expected more of him. We heard that he was going to get more opportunities. I was also game one saying, well, it is summer league and they're playing with a bunch of bums. We can go ahead and say that because this summer league team is a bunch of people that I don't even know, never heard of. They're not really giving him opportunities to make plays per se. This third game was a little bit better. The ball was moving a little bit more. He got more opportunities in this game, but I expected more from a top 10 pick in my opinion. Now, I also did say that I will wait until preseason and in the regular season to really, really give him the status of bust. I'm just very underwhelmed right now with him. This third game, yes, it was a good performance, but I need consistency. I need more from him. And that's just my stance on it. I'm not quite at bust status, but I also am very underwhelmed. And I'll just say that again, and I'll let Salty handle the bust status because Salty is the bust guy.
Pause.
Talk to me, Salt.
All right, so this whole bust term, I think that obviously this guy's not a bust, right? I mean, bust status is like you suck, in my opinion, And Jalen Smith is far from that. Stix. Don't confuse him with Jalen, all right? I know that's tough. I'm watching these games. If you have it, there's a Jalen Smith. It's not this guy, okay? So Jalen Smith went to Maryland, where he was slotted to get drafted. He didn't control that. And unfortunately, our GM likes to reach, and he pulled a rabbit out of the hat, right? With the pick with Cam Johnson, because everybody was laughing at that pick. They're laughing at you. You know what I'm saying? He picked Cam Johnson, knocked that out of the park, right? It's like buying stock in GameStop when it was tanking, and then all of a sudden it just explodes. You look like a smart individual. With this pick with Stix, I think he was trying to do the same thing where he's seeing this diamond in the rough where everybody else doesn't see it, and that's fine. You can't hit every ball out of the park. It's impossible. So the problem with Jalen, he's a big man, and big men take time to develop. And unfortunately, the situation the Suns are in does not afford that. So it's not a Jalen Smith problem. It's a situation problem, and it's where he got drafted problem. So you got to take all of that into account to what I'm saying about Jalen. He played center at Maryland. Completely different situation in college, completely different style of gameplay if you go look at his highlights. And then he's going to the NBA where he's asked to play the 4. He's trying to be a stretch. His first game, he's sitting in the corner, not really involved in the offense. So it's going to take time for him to develop his game as a 4, because he's learning a whole different way to play the game, because he was playing as a center in Maryland. That's the issue. It's not necessarily Jalen Smith, it's the time, and it's him learning a new position. And will that translate to a team that's trying to go chase a championship? And in my opinion, the answer is no, because what he's doing right now is against summer league players. It's a totally different situation when you're in the NBA. Does it translate? would we rather have a Thaddeus Young, a proven guy to try to get back to the promised land? In my opinion, I would rather do that as opposed to go with an unknown situation.
Okay, so now let me bring it back to where my mind goes with this, which is, can you see a scenario in which without Dario, right? We are not going to have Dario. No Dario. You remember how scarce it was for us to have big men like that could play. Like Frank came in the finals, something we never wanted to have happen. Okay. So in a world where that's your reality, can you not see Stix maybe playing and getting better throughout the year? Like a lot of players, think about Anthony Edwards, much more talented, very raw, comes in, doesn't look great, but by mid-season, he's dunking on people by the end of the year. Is it possible that you could play Stix and let him learn on the fly a little bit?
That's a tricky situation, man. I mean, because once again, like I said, I feel like right now and Salt even said it, we are in the win now business, which has never been said before in the last decade of Suns basketball. But we are in the win now business.
So
you know what I mean? And so it's one of those things. Do you really want to let him develop throughout the year and let him have growing pains, or do you want to make sure that you have a solid rotation, a super solid rotation throughout the year going in and have that what's the word I'm looking for? Have that I can't even think of the word right now, but having that rotation, having the lineup the way you want it all the way throughout the whole year into the playoffs going in. Do you want that, or would you rather him develop and maybe not work out? And that's where I'm at. And for me, no, I'd rather you go get what you need, insert them into the lineup, and that be solid throughout the rest of the year, rather than playing Stix. He works out, maybe he doesn't. And then he's just sitting on the bench in the playoffs again, not getting into the rotation again. And here we are having Jay Crowder playing big and Frank's coming in, and we don't have Dario. I just don't. That's the possibility that I don't want to mess with. I'd much rather get a sure thing than play with an experiment during the regular season.
And you agree, Salt?
Yeah, Nick kind of hit it on the head there. Anthony Edwards developed on a very poor team, and they could allow that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were just out of playoff contention throughout the whole year. And yeah, you can let him have growing pains. That's another thing that I was saying. It's just he doesn't have that time or that advantage of being able to do that. And I think he will grow. But the thing is the margins are razor thin, because we saw this at the end of the year, right? Literally a game lost in the regular season could be the difference between you getting the number 1 seed, which was the case between us and the Jazz. So razor thin margins, and I believe in the number 1 pick, not the number 1 seed, in having home court advantage to the playoffs, especially with a player like Booker who plays well at home and et cetera, I think you need to make a push for that. And I don't think that you have room to have a kid make mistakes and rely on him, like you were saying. Like, if he's your only other bit, your 4, then you're in trouble, because if he's struggling, then what happens, right?
Can I throw out some names that are just flowing to me organically here?
Sure.
Randall from the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
What's his first name?
Julius
Randall. Ingram. Lonzo. Players that you knew were going to grow into something, or felt definitely look like they're going to grow into something, but they just, we just too young. Not, we're in a different. And now, how much do you think the Lakers would still like to have Brandon Ingram and Randall and Ball? They'd be a murder squad.
They would love to have them right now, bro. They would,
squad.
But it all comes to what Salt said. It's timing. At the time, they they were allowed to develop. It's not like they went and they traded him to like a playoff team off the rip. They went to the Pelicans and the Knicks, and nobody was believing in the Knicks before Julius Randle actually developed into a solid player. Nobody believes in the Pelicans right now, even though they have Zion, right? So it's gonna like that doesn't. Those situations are completely different than us being a playoff team, going to the NBA Finals, trying to go back to the NBA Finals, developing a player who's going to have a role in the rotation, and it might not be working out. You know, it's just, do you really want to play with that? Do you want to play with that fire?
Julius Randle wasn't even part of that package, right? How many teams was he on before it clicked with the Knicks, right? And he's a big man. It's like Julius Randle was a high pick, and then Ball, right? He had a kind of a broken shot. He got traded to New Orleans. He's on his third team. It's not like it's just his second team. He's on a brand new contract. It's just like, do you think the Lakers regret that? I don't think so, because they won a championship in the bubble, and they've done other things. They got Anthony Davis, and they're set up. They got LeBron and stuff. So I do see the chance of having regret, saying, hey, we traded Stix for these runs. If you win a championship, you definitely won't care. But if you don't, then you'd be like, oh, and what is Stix doing on team? Like, let's say he goes to the Spurs because they have Thad Young's contract or whatever, and they pick him up. He develops into a good player. Will I regret that? No, I won't. If we end up winning a championship,
of course not. No, if we win the title, it's all gravy. It's all
but
worth it.
I do see where you're coming from, Gabe. It would stink to see him get traded, and then thinking, well, we could have in the future kept Stix, Booker, Cam Johnson, Bridges, Ayton. Like, that could be a solid. I get what you're saying. And yeah, that would hurt.
It's a gamble either way.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I really would. But either way, like you said, it's a gamble either way. And for me right now in Summer League, like I said, I want to see him in the preseason and see him in the regular season a little bit. But right now, it's like I would much rather get the solid vet who knows what they're doing. There will be more drafts in the future. There will be more trades to be had for us to get different players. You know what I'm saying? We're in the win now time. So like you said, it's a gamble either way.
Well, I tell you what we should do. We should throw it to the chat, right? Throw it to the comments, because they really swayed both of us on Thad Randle. My goodness. I was not expecting it to be such a barrage of Thad Randle comments, but let us know what you guys think in the chat. Where are you guys at? Do you think
Thad Randle? You mean Thad
Randle?
Thad what?
Thad Young? You mean you said Thad
There's
Randle?
too many Thads.
Yo, let's redo that, and then just cut that.
You know what? I would if I was fake like you. All right, but I'm leaving it. Listen,
no.
So tell us in the chat. What do you guys think? You told us about Thad Young over Kevin Love. You convinced us on this. Is Stix a bust? Should we keep him long term or move him for something right now? We'll be back with another video soon, and we'll see you guys then. Valley Pod Boys out.